just wanted to go over the code review. So when you guys had first given me this project, I thought it was a morning thing. So I thought the best way to do it would be to skip the database and just try some JavaScript. It should have worked. It didn't. One thing I've learned in programming is to fail and fail fast. So I knew at this point JavaScript, somewhere around like 2 p.m., I knew JavaScript just wasn't going to happen. I thought about how to approach the project again. I knew Java, generally speaking, also wouldn't be an option, just because if you look here, let's see here, it's a ton of setup database-wise. There's a lot of web XML formatting. I knew that would take me at least 2 days. For me, generally speaking, I think this project would take 2 days. But having said that, I thought, okay, well, how can I get a database, a server, and a language to all interact quickly to create the type of environment that you were looking for to hit all the benchmarks that you wanted? So I thought PHP is a great tool for this. There are only a few ways to pass these variables, so what I wanted to do was be able to build you something that worked, but was also scalable so that if I had time, I could get to the database stuff. I want to say, I feel like most of coding is getting your environment done, and then once you can freely make changes, you're pretty much good to go. So, unfortunately, if you look here, Biobots AB, I tried like 6 or 7 iterations of actually getting this to work. I think I tried every IDE, I tried every sort of built-in server database combination. But thankfully, I eventually came across one that worked. It's called Uniserver, I believe. And so it's just got an Apache server, and from here I can directly host my code in just a www folder. So I use that to build the website. Let's go take a look at it. So this is just window dressing, front page. And this is also just window dressing. So here we can enter some parameters. So for human cell line, we'll do, DH5. For tissue type, we'll do liver. For organism, we'll do human. Temperature, we'll say 98 degrees. High quality print. Submit. So obviously this is not exactly what you were hoping for, but at the same time it is passing variables between the pages. And I've made all this code available on Git. You should just be able to drag it and drop it in whatever environment you're comfortable with, so long as it can run PHP and HTML. You should be all set. I also did just the basic file upload tool. This is just jQuery, pretty straightforward stuff. That's also up on Git. Just upload your STL file. Good to go. So let's talk a bit more about where we would go from here. So I think it's important just to mention that really what you want is you want to get that pagination feel, and you want a database that you can read and write to. So here I've created the database. I just, sort of running short on time. I wanted to at least show you guys something. Given a few more hours, I could certainly read and write those variables to the database and then pull them. And then for however many database values you have, you can create the pagination from there. So let's just go ahead and look at the code real quick. So all I've done here is just created a PHP array as soon as the page starts. And I'm like, PHP, I'm going to give you these values at some point. Promises, promises. So then HTML, window dressing. Here we have a form. All that is just the input fields that I showed you earlier. Here's our jQuery tool. And so what's going to happen now is if somebody hasn't submitted something, no matter what happens to the page, it'll reflect itself. Once somebody has submitted something, it'll spit out those values to a new page. So it's important here also that part of the reason I wanted to do this quickly for you guys, mainly to show I could code, but also just to produce something that eventually, like given a few more hours, I could totally build out to read, write, and actually be a rather robust web application. So this is just a basic database configure file. I've built in sort of a unit test here. It's just called test PHP. So let's go visit test PHP right now and just see how it reacts. So just go ahead and enter test PHP. Error, could not connect to the database. That is totally unfortunate. Let's just go ahead and start the server, the database rather. Refresh here. And now we are connected. So now that we have all of that up and running, I think from here it's pretty easy to just go back and instead of these variables, being a post value where you just say, dear server, hold on to it for me, you can just write them to the database and then on the following page pull them. That would have taken probably a few more hours of coding. But again, the environment here is the most critical thing. A few other ways that I was going to try to do this, but really just wanted to give you guys a video before noon, was you could store these values in the session. But again, every single time you visit the page, your previous values are destroyed. So really what you guys are looking for in the future is a database associated with that. So for any code reviews you might do after this. And so while this end result was not sort of exactly what I was hoping for, I hope it's sort of short. It goes through the process of how I code, how I figure things out. I think I finally got the development environment running by like 1 a.m. I spent 4 hours just like pouring through these config files. You have to set various variables, allow permissions, this, that, and the other, and these things are sort of undocumented in a sense, and a lot of times they're incorrect, so you got to just hunt down the errors and trust your instincts there. I could have taken a few other approaches. I actually haven't coded in PHP in a while. Django, those type of new age apps are certainly totally possible. I was a little bit worried that with those, if they didn't work, I wouldn't be able to show you anything, and that's the last thing I wanted. So what I've done is I've put the code available on Git. Hopefully this sort of explains my thought process through it all. And if you guys have any questions, comments, I'm happy to go through things. So yeah, thanks for the time. Take care, guys.